India is beginning patrolling across the LAC, the line of actual control, after disengagement with China. Army chief says LAC situation sensitive but stable. 60% slain terrorists in Jammu and Kashmir, Pakistanis, is what the army chief has said. These developments are reporting on as far as Jammu and Kashmir and the LAC is concerned, not just the LAC but the LOC as well. With the army chief talking about the fact that infiltration menace continues in Jammu and Kashmir.
GNK. Situation is firmly under control. On line of control, ceasefire, which is effective from Feb 2021 after the DGMO's understanding, is holding on. However, the terror infrastructure across remains intact. Infiltration attempts continue, including from the IB sector or so many other avenues which are available, along with drone attempts to smuggle warlike stores and narcotics. In hinterland, in recent months, increased terrorist activities was seen in North Kashmir and Doda-Kishtwar belt.
All right, so significant statement there coming in from the army chief there, talking about infiltration menace that continues in Jammu and Kashmir unabated, also talking about the LAC situation, which is sensitive although stable. Remember, India has started the patrolling across the line of actual control after disengagement with China, which was seen as a huge development, especially after the doctrinal tensions that broke out in the year 2020, worsening the situation, the border situation between China and India. As far as the LAC is concerned, Army has begun the disengagement process, I beg your pardon. The Army chief talks about the fact that, that the situation is stable, though sensitive. Lieutenant General retired Sanjay Kulkarni is now joining us, the former DG of the infantry. Thank you, sir, for your time. I want to begin by asking you, how do you look at this response today from the army chief, talking about the disengagement and also that the situation is stable, although does mention that it continues to be sensitive?
Sneha, thank you very much. I think this briefing by the chief on the eve of the Army Day, perfectly fine. I think that's the way he's put it, and he's put it absolutely correct, because the situation is stable but sensitive. We have to be alert, and we can't afford to keep our guards down. But definitely the disengagement process is on, and well, it will take time, but I have no, I can sort of definitely state, yes, the situation is stable, yet we have to be alert. There is no denying the fact, and we have to be, what I would turn around is saying that we cannot let our guards down just to say that, well, the disengagement has taken place. No, the disengagement, yes, will take place, but the amount of time to deduct will take a very, very long time. There is no denying the fact. Deduction will take a very long time. But yes, disengagement process is on, and that itself should, peace and tranquility, yes, along the border, but sensitivity is there, and we have to be careful, watchful and alert at all times. Yeah.
Yes, also the other aspect that was touched upon by the army chief, and perhaps this was also expected, was talking about the infiltration that continues in Jammu and Kashmir, and that it continues to be a situation that keeps, us on the edge, isn't it? Given that there are, that the infiltration menace here continues, and of course, Jammu and the international border, there continues to be the big challenge now, isn't it?
Yes, infiltration along the LOC, we have to be very careful. It does take place once in a while, despite all our efforts, because of the weather conditions, it does happen. We have to be alert. There is no denying the fact. You all know Pakistan uses terrorism as an instrument of state policy. We have also seen how Pakistan is trying to involve itself and interfere in Bangladesh. So we have to be careful with Pakistan. Pakistan cannot be trusted at all. And therefore, the infiltration attempts, we have to ensure that the infiltration does not take place. But despite the fencing, but because of the weather conditions, the way the border is, you can't possibly have men everywhere. We have to be watchful. Infiltration does take place, and that's an issue which really is bothersome, because Pakistan just tends to push all these terrorists from across the border to create chaos in India. So
that's right.
Much that it has been controlled, but Pakistan cannot be trusted, and we have to be watchful and alert on this issue.
That's right. I'm going to thank you, sir, for joining in with your perspective, your views on that. big story that we are tracking. Gaurav also continues to be with us on that story. Gaurav Sawant, our managing editor. Gaurav, I think the best way to describe the situation at the LAC perhaps would be, cautious optimism perhaps, and on both sides, given that there is also information, and we are reported on the fact that China also has conducted drills near the LAC in eastern Ladakh. So describing the situation there as sensitive but still stable is perhaps the most apt way of putting it.
So the situation along the line of actual control between India and China, especially in eastern Ladakh, does remain a cause for concern. While disengagement has happened, which is step one. Step two is de-escalation, which is yet to take place. And step three is de-induction of these 50,000 troops going back to their peacetime location. That has not happened. And since step two and step three have not happened, the situation does remain well stable, as not as volatile as it was after Galwan. But it could, escalate depending on, what China does or what India's countermeasures could be. Point one. Point two, at the same time, India is increasing its infrastructure development all along the LAC, so that India is not weak at any point. On the contrary, there are some points where India is far stronger than we were in 2020 vis-a-vis the adversary. So in case there is a situation, there are effective countermeasures that can be taken, and these countermeasures are all along the LAC, not just in eastern Ladakh, but in the middle sector, in North Sikkim and also in Arunachal Pradesh. So if you look at the picture holistically, India is in the process of making multiple changes all along. Right now, even theatre commands are being talked about. India is also strengthening itself in the Andaman and Nicobar region. So overall, there are effective measures being taken to checkmate China. At the same time, both politically and diplomatically, efforts are on to ensure that the situation does not get out of hand. But China remains extremely, extremely unpredictable, and there isn't forward movement towards finding a solution. It's only containment of the situation right now. Sneha.
All right, Gaurav, I'm going to leave it at that for the moment. Gaurav Sawant getting in those details and his perspective on that big story that we are tracking, the statement of the Army Chief, on disengagement, and also on the infiltration that continues as far as the LOC is concerned.